Mochene ke le sona la mopedi la go tswa Dartphotography Jane First. That's where I was born. Another name for the place is Mochene. So you'll hear in my tracks sometimes, in my songs, I say Mochene.
Welcome to the glory. Highly favored. Music. Palace bangers, ladies and gentlemen.
Mochene. I came to know about Mochene like everyone else. You know, via social media. I never knew there was a Mochene. Before Mochene came, there was a guy called Dizzy Man A. That's the guy that I pretty much grew up with. Thinking about it right now, it's crazy to think that we've been on the music journey together for almost 10 years now.
What should define me the most is my ability to connect with people, you know, through my stories. People that I've never met, they just relate because something I say, even if it's one line, even if it's not the whole track, just one line, and they feel like they connected to me. That's what should be able to define an artist, and that's what should define me, that I'm a storyteller. I just want to be able to be the greatest in my craft, and I become the greatest just by doing that, by being myself.
I met Mochene through Tando, which is Devour. Devour was recording, actually we were starting to record Not Devour as well. So when one of the sessions, Devour said she's got a friend that's gonna come in and sit in through her session. And then it happened to be Mochene. And he had his tapes, his first mixtape, Red Tape, with him. He just came back from collecting the CDs. So I was like, yeah, drop one off and let me check it out. Checked it out. I liked how he rhymed. I liked how he wrote. Style of writing was quite different. But I felt like he was let down by the sound and the production at the time. My opinion, sorry. But yeah, I felt like I could contribute towards that. And then I invited him to come work with me. And then from there, he also liked how I worked. So yeah, we just had the working relationship developed from there. So from there, man, I felt like we just became more than friends, more than just working partners, became fam, man. Yeah.
He inspires me a lot. I'm a person who's very particular when it comes to the things I consume, what I listen to, the artists I like. I feel like I was a fan of Mochene before I even became his friend, and it's quite a serendipitous thing, I guess, that we ended up as friends actually. It's weird how it worked out that himself, me, and Bima, who is our engineer currently, actually linked up around about the same time and built quite a dope rapport, you know. So watching him work, seeing him maneuver, seeing him coming into his own actually right now, because I've been out of the studio for the longest time, but even till this day I'm inspired by the type of artist that he is and how seriously he takes himself, and the urge to always want to grow, the urge to always want to evolve. I think that is something that is very dope. That is something I admire insanely. And in as much as I was inspired by his talent back then and just, you know, the cool swagger that he had, I'm inspired today by just seeing the metamorphosis having happened, you know. So yeah, I think we have quite an inspirational. I know that he how do I say this humbly, is inspired by me too, so to speak. So we have a good rapport. We have a good rapport, but I think it's one that is very authentic, one that is very genuine, and he and I 80% of the time are speaking about music. So yeah, man, it's just one of those things that energies collided, and I've just been inspired by him ever since. Yeah.
Listen, I just wanna get cash, stay fresh like KO. But the struggles of the come up got me in chokeholds.
I fell in love with the words. So every other artist that I listened to growing up, whether it's Tracy Chapman, Dukes, you know, you name them, like those people that inspired me to write. And then I had the love of hip hop when I listened to like Traveling Man growing up by DJ Honda and Mos Def. Yeah, it actually inspired me to start writing my own raps, you know what I mean? I didn't know I was any good, so I always practiced at home, like in my own private space. I didn't share it. Even in high school, when people were busy rapping, I was just dancing. I didn't want to actually express the side of me that I like writing. But, you know, in English class, I like literature and all that. So those are the things that actually steered me into the music and the writing part. And I gravitated towards hip-hop because it's known for that, like being a writer, you know, doing dope lyrics, metaphors and all that.
Don't cry no more. And tell him that we come a long way. You the reason that I'm always in my own lane. Told me what and I don't know if I'll be able to repay you. Mama, don't cry no more.
The recording process of Mochene is one of the most pleasurable experiences because brother comes in prepared, man. He's always nice and prepared. I think that comes from him. He developed a style of writing and practicing his verses. While he was working, he'll memorize his rhymes and his lyrics, and then when it comes to studio, that will show because then he'll have them all in his head. And that makes my work much more pleasurable because then he's just nice and prepared. I don't have to coach him a lot. We don't have to take a lot of takes. And another thing that is because he also tries to push himself as an artist to better himself from the last song that we did. And that makes me also learn something from him as well. So I like that. I enjoy that a lot because then it just makes us grow together.
I wonder what my grandfather would say if he saw how divided.
My creative process is bizarre to other artists, I'd imagine. Because now, I would sit there for hours and hours and hours with like the headphones on and listening to beats. And if the words don't connect, I'm not going to be able to come up with anything. I will hop to another beat and see if that beat connects with me because I rely on emotions, you know. And I'm going to try to listen to the emotion of the beat and I'm going to try to connect with it. And then the words will start flowing. That's why sometimes the topics of my music are like, how do you even sing about that, you know? But I do because I'd imagine maybe someone goes through such a situation and I will think about it and then I'll elaborate further on it and what I feel or what I picture it to be. And I'll put myself in that story, you know, as if I went through it. Like a lot of emotions is what inspires my creative process. And then soon as the words connect, I'm gonna repeat them over and over and over and over again until I am one with them. Now that creates the flow.
Woo! There ain't no stopping, the flow alone is immaculate. Bars will give you paralysis, turning rappers to cabbages. Back in my head like mallets, I did a picture the glory. I stay true to my story and my city never applauds me. I stay hungry for fortune, but they'll never get the message, cause I'm such a tough cookie. They tell me I'm still a rookie, I started up like Suzuki. Go toe to toe with these fellas, they women show me their cameras. I told her I like the picture, like Insta, I tapped her twice, but once should have sufficed. Cause now she catching feelings way quicker than how trains. I gave her the bamboo, I knew it's a bad move, but know that I can't lose. Got a chip on my shoulder the size of a knockerhead. A shout out to knockerhead. There's nothing like the foundation we laid with Gemini. That's why they call me the realest, they know that I can't lie. So take a look in my eyes and see the fire inside as I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. As I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil, I fear no evil, I fear no evil.
There's nothing better than just being real and being you. And you, what is you in terms of being Mochene? And that's part of it. Is a petty guy. And that's not a lot of rappers are proud of that side of things, and they don't come across like that a lot. So we said, why not? Let's challenge ourselves to kind of try to create something along those lines, around that sound, and see what comes out, because nobody has already done it. And we did that. We started developing and we started getting a hang of it on both sides. For him as a writer, me as a producer, it started sounding nice that way, you know, as a rapper, trying to get into an industry with a lot of other people that are kind of sounding the same. How are we gonna stand out? And then we said, yo, let's try to play around with something that you already have, which is already you, that a lot of people are not tapping into.
I exist as diatomic, that's how you know I don't blend in with these fellas. Homie, I'm 6 feet from these fellas, that means they dead.
Each and every time I listen to Chantrap as a sound, as a project, I kind of imagine myself as sort of like a young kid, and then we're out somewhere in the veld, and there's this old topi, like this puppy who's just sitting there. We're around like sort of like a campfire vibe, and we're surrounding him, and he's just telling us all these dope stories.
Chantrap is my definition of what a petty rapper from where I come from, Sikukune, J-Fest, should aspire to be. You know, Chantrap is what I named the style. It's chant, because that's what we do in our tradition. Our traditional music, our cultural music, we chant a lot, and rap, because I rap, so it's chant rap. People think it's chant trap or something, I don't know, but it's chant rap.
It reminds me of everything truly South African.
I wanted to define myself, like I say, Mochene should just weigh hard on you when you hear the name and when you hear the music. It should be so heavy that you feel like this is a genre of its own, you know. This is a pioneer of something. And chant rap, because I've also been inspired by other people. Like I grew up listening to a variety of artists, and artists that actually just made real music to me. The first time I tried to write a song, I was listening to Bugalav, you know, and I was listening to his lyrics and how they go and how he comes up with the words, and I tried to write a song, and because I was listening to his song, obviously my song sounded like his a bit.
Being a musician myself, I know how tricky it can be to find your own voice in a genre that already has so many voices. But not only that, having an identity and somewhat be a pioneer of that for people coming through. So because I was with him throughout the process of him actually creating Chantrap, him delving into his culture a bit more, him researching about the language, you know, him even cute things that he'd be fascinated by, like idioms that, you know, he'll have come across, or him saying something to his mother, for instance, and having his mom like, hey, where do you know that from? Because you didn't really grow up in the rural like that, but it's people from there who speak like that. And for me, that was very profound, because it means that he took it very seriously. Chantrap makes me have all these feelings of being attracted to everything authentic.
I was inspired by other artists to write songs when I started off. I also aspired to create something so valuable that other people will want to follow it and say, this is the sound, this is the way. We want to write like him too, you know what I mean? And that's exactly what Chantrap is for me, and something that's supposed to inspire other Bedi kids, like Motswako inspired other Tswana kids. Whatever inspired me, you know. But I want a Bedi boy, this sound is me. This defines me too. I should jump on this and elaborate it further. I have my side of the story to tell about Chantrap.
Embarrassing. I am the best and the best in this. Alpha and Omega. The flow is halal. Let us see about. I'm taking it back to the street.
I can sum up my life with one song. Well, up until I became a songwriter myself, I religiously loved Tracy Chapman, I'm Ready. The lyrics go, I'm ready to let the waters wash over me. And it sounds so pure for me. That really is purity, like I'm ready for that. Within my career, within my personal life, you know, I'm just ready to let the waters wash over me, cleanse me, so that I can shine my light, you know. And my own song that really defines me and that can sum up my life for me is Mochene, you know. That's the song that started the sound that made me so confident in it. And you find me in that song and you find my passion. You know, it was as if it's my first song ever. And yeah, that's what sums me up. Mochene. Gape jwale ba kwele setlogolo sa ba kwena se tsene mo dilo ga ke fitla ba gobokana ba nnyaka dinepe ba re go nna ke tese ke dula ke le fresh ka be ke le kae ka be ke le ka dula bona emelela ka mauta ga sa batle go ja masalela a mautia Mochene ka lena tše dingwe tsona di re bušetša morago re tsoma denare fela.
Jake with a heavy combination. I've been on my loan. I let get the ball and now it's back to the saga. Get panda de ranta from Manta to Manta. Kaya kapaka kya baseta. My flow is like Limpopo weather. Kya fisha, kya bela, kya tuka, kya puta, kya fake. Khale bare swere ka di pe. Khale bare fosha ka melek. Babuche batwa soka le lama. Babuche tize mene ke mko. Khabatsebe ki batishe cha mitlo. Khabatsebe ki baboncha di poko. Khabatsebe ki batishe cha masoko. Le babuche gena. Ya. Kitena moba sa fetero. Kitena moba sa fetero. You push. Ma voce na ke se bata. la